G'day mates, it's your host Mary O'Neill Phillips and you are listening to Country Outdoors Podcast.
Dylan Schneider, welcome to Country Outdoors Podcast.
What's up?
What's up?
Oh, nothing. Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here.
I'm stoked to have you on. So we obviously had you over for NWTF. Thank you again for donating your time.
Of course, that was awesome.
No, I appreciate it because you're playing for free for conservation to raise money for conservation. So we really appreciate that and it doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
But here's a funny story, which I don't know if you know. So we actually met in 2016.
Okay.
And you were young then. Like you must have just
real
moved
young.
to town.
Yeah.
And it was Taylor Phillips' birthday at the mansion.
Shoot. Yep.
Redneck, Upchurch Redneck.
Yeah, the big pool in the back.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
So I was there and I actually met you there and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, there's this sweet little boy. And you were pretty, what were you, like 17 or 18 at the time?
Yeah, I think I was probably just going on 17 right then. But I remember that. That was fun. That was a fun time.
My husband was the one that was
there.
trying to catch the possum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was just a wild night all around. I remember just coolers of more beer than I'd ever seen in my entire life. And, so many people. I met a lot of cool people that night, too. Still friends with people ever since then. So.
And that's the thing. Like, I was thinking about that before you were coming on, and I was like, that's so wild, because that was really, like, everybody at that time was, like, either just popping off or starting to, and then like seeing how people have just like those relationships that you form when you first move to town, how they can contribute so much to your career and the direction of your career and who you end up riding with and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like, that's why people always say like, you never know who's gonna pop off or who's gonna do great things. So you never want to burn bridges. You want to try to be cool with everybody, make good acquaintances.
Yeah.
It's wild though. Yeah, I mean everybody obviously ever since then has had a lot of success and a lot of cool people were at that party, and it's awesome to see everybody grow.
Well, including yourself.
Hey,
your career has definitely been evolving over the years. You've got your single out now. You had the hit with Dustin Lynch. Tell me a little bit about, for those who are new Dylan Schneider fans, hopefully we're getting a few on this as well. Tell us a little bit about your journey coming from Indiana and what that was like, and then moving to Nashville.
Yeah, so I grew up in Indiana, like playing baseball, just really into sports, all the way up until I was probably about 13, 14. Got super into music, and I always loved listening to music, but I never dove into it. I tried to learn guitar when I was younger, and I think I was like 7 or 8. I just didn't have the patience. So when I got into the new modern, more modern sounding country stuff, like when Florida Georgia Line came out and Luke Bryan, Al Dean, all those guys, I went to high school and just met a lot of new people and got exposed to a lot of new music, and people were putting me on that stuff, and I really liked it. So that's when I picked up a guitar. I started trying to teach myself, rather than taking the lessons like I did when I was 7 or 8. And, it was like learning one note at a time, really boring stuff. I tried to dive more into it, with an acoustic guitar and learn the chords and learn the songs that I wanted to learn like as quickly as possible.
How were you learning it? Were you like YouTubing it?
YouTube,
or doing,
yeah.
Really, yeah.
So YouTube was great, and it was awesome because I could work at my own pace, and it just made me kind of a little bit more excited about it, And doing it on your own was a little bit more rewarding, I guess, too, when you figured something out. But
for sure.
I learned some songs, started playing some cover stuff, little shows here and there, started writing, and then after I wrote like my first couple songs, I was like, I really want to do this, forever. And I started coming down here. And
what did that look like? The first time that you said to your parents, oh, I'm going to go to Nashville? And
Yeah. So at the time, I was still. When I started coming down here, like, I would come down every week and try to write songs and stuff when I was about 16. So I was still riding down.
Did you know anyone here?
No. I just started making, friendships and meeting people through. I did get picked up by some people, like, through Instagram that were interested in working with me. So they brought me down, helped me make some of my first, relationships and stuff in town, and with writers, and then word got around about me when I was doing the cover stuff on social media and everything. So it was just kind of like built from the ground up, which was cool. But yeah, I started coming down here 16, every week, just riding, and my parents were always super supportive. They'd drive me down, every, usually Sunday we'd come down, and then I'd write Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and come back up to Indiana. But then after getting down here for a while, I started putting music out, having a little bit of traction going on. We started playing shows, so it was like I'd be home in Indiana maybe like 1 or 2 days if I even got to go home. When things started picking up, it was like down here riding, maybe go home and then shows on the weekend, Friday, Saturday. It was just busy.
So you just made the official move down then?
Yeah, I did. Like shortly after that, it was.
Was that 2016?
2017, I got my first apartment.
Gotcha. So that must have been pretty close after I had met you.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even think I had a place here yet. I was kind of crashing on couches and stuff for a little while, which, back then was the coolest thing ever. I wouldn't really want to do that now.
The grind is like, I speak to so many people about this, and it's like the grind, everybody thinks, overnight success. For us who have been in this game for, over 10 years just in Nashville, let alone what you did before you came here. That is, though, part of the story, isn't it? Like the grind that got you there, you learn so much in that period of time that ends up becoming so valuable in your career, and you having grit and how you navigate relationships and all of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it shapes you up for sure. And like, it makes you, I don't know, I guess a little bit more like resilient. You just also get stronger through it all, which is good. I mean, I feel like it's character building and everything. But the grind, I think that's, in some ways, I was listening to, I can't remember who it was a podcast the other day, but someone was just talking about, how once you get to the top, or like once you get to where you've achieved all these things you want, it's almost not as fun anymore. The fun part is the hard part, and you don't even realize it
until you get to
the end. Yeah, it's like all the memories you make, all the times where you're striving and you have, goals that you want.
You're in the Sprinter van that breaks down or busts on the side of the road or catches fire like us. We had a camper that caught fire while we were driving.
Exactly.
All those things, it's like,
It's one of the most exciting times. Those are the most exciting things that happen along the way, and you look back and you're like, man, that actually, it was tough then, but it was fun. At least I got to do all those cool things and experience crazy things, and it, like you said, when you're not given everything, at least it makes you like work for something.
For sure. Yeah, I love that. Obviously, this is Country Outdoors, and so we want to dig into, I understand that you got into hunting in the last couple years. I know you're a fisherman as well, but I would love to know, first of all, I love these pants.
Thank you.
Are they vintage?
No, they're not. I've just had them for so long. They're
Pretty
getting
much
worn.
then.
Yeah, they're vintage. I made them vintage.
So I want to know why you chose to get into hunting. What made you want to get into hunting?
Yeah, it was just something growing up. I didn't really have my family was never really huge into it, but it was always something I was interested in. So then when my buddy up in Indiana, he lived in this nice golf community where we all kind of grew up, and they were all, all of my friends were neighbors and stuff, so we always hung out there. But then they finally moved out of the neighborhood and bought this little tiny farm out on the edge of the town's called Riley, right outside of Terre Haute, Indiana, where I'm from. And they got a nice pond out there, so it's good for fishing, everything like that. And then they were really into, his dad's always been kind of an outdoorsman guy, but they were getting into, hunting and stuff out there, and it's nice because it's so convenient. It's just right over there. So I was like, oh, I'd want to do that. And I went out a couple times with them, and I just loved getting up in the morning, just it's something exciting to look forward to, and going out there with the guys. And the first couple times I got to do it, I was just like, oh, this is really fun. So I ended up, getting my first shotgun after that, and I've just always wanted to do it. Granted, I haven't had as much time. I like to do it when I get back up there. I went twice, I think, over the winter. This past time I got to be home for a month, which was good. But I don't know, it's just something I was always interested in. I've always wanted to learn more, and I still don't know a ton about it, but I just like that I, kind of got my foot in the door. And
I think that's great, though. You're an advocate for people getting into the sport at any stage. I got into hunting in my mid-20s, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am now, but I'm older than you. But I think participation is growing, and it's good for people to hear stories like this, because I think people can get a little intimidated, or how do I do that? How do I even start? But your story about going for the first time is that's exactly why. I remember the first time I went, and my husband put me in a tree by myself. My now husband, at the time I was just first time I'd ever gone hunting. And I said to him, I want to learn how to do it by myself though, so I can go by myself. And I remember first time I sat in a tree, and it was for deer season with a bow. I had a crossbow at the time. And I remember creeping into the stand in the middle of the night or early morning, it's dark. You have no idea what you're getting into, and then the sun starts to crack, and I see this spider weaving a web in front of my face, and squirrels starting to move and all of this. And I remember thinking to myself, and I still remember exactly what it was, me thinking, oh my gosh, God, you've been here doing this whole time and I had no idea.
Yeah.
And it makes me like even choke up a little bit like saying that now, because it was like, I know the secret now. Like there's this whole little secret world that goes on that nobody knows about.
It's crazy, yeah, because until you go do it, you don't realize. It's like you get to see the world wake up, and it's like such a fun thing. And like the excitement of like just being out there, yeah, like granted, you know, people are always like, oh, that seems boring, but it's like, no, like just like the, you know, the waiting game and everything, and then when you finally get there, it's like you know, like I was saying about just the music thing, you know, it's like that whole working to that point to get, you know, the reward at the end is like awesome.
Yeah.
You know, being out there is just beautiful.
A lot of life lessons, I think, in hunting and in the entertainment industry that cross over, and that was why when we started Country Outdoors in 2019, it wasn't really a new concept to put country music and the outdoors together, just no one had really done it at the time. And at that time, you probably remember, but a lot of the labels and stuff were telling people to not talk about hunting, not talk about faith, not talk about all these things that were literally like the lifestyle and how people live and breathe in their culture. And so we were like, well, we're not really like that in the entertainment industry that we have to abide by those rules, so we're just going to do it. And we just got flooded with artists wanting to come on and be like, hey, I just want to talk about like the things I enjoy.
Yeah, something where they can, you know, get out there on a platform and kind of just open up a little bit about that. That's great. That's awesome. No, like speaking of people that, you know, love to do that and podcasts and everything, you guys starting this is so cool. I was going to say another reason why I wanted to always get into hunting too, which, you know, this is obviously recent news, but Duck Dynasty, I grew up loving that show.
Yeah, and you saw the news this week.
R.I.P. Yeah, to Phil Robertson. Yeah. But I loved, you know, their family and like all that stuff and their like ideologies behind everything. And no, I was just sad. I just wanted to say something because that was one of the big things too when I was younger. I didn't have anyone to go with, but I was like, man, I want to go duck hunting. I remember buying a duck call and wishing like, oh man, I wish I could get out there, you know.
Welcome to the Songbird. This 4th floor luxury penthouse suite is located right in the heart of historic downtown Nashville. Professionally designed, decorated, and appointed with modern amenities, including an elevator, with spacious accommodations for up to 12 guests, including 4 en-suites and a bunk area perfect for couples, friends, or family traveling together. A beautiful large living space with a bar area, karaoke stage, poker, and shuffleboards. Walls of windows with beautiful views over the Cumberland River, downtown, and the Nashville skyline. You can even see the Batman building. With a short walk to the Honky Tonks on Broadway, concerts at Nissan Stadium, Bridgestone Arena, Ascend Amphitheatre, restaurants, farmers markets, shops, and so much more. For more information on how to book the Songbird, simply check out the QR code or head to their Instagram, thesongbird.nashville.
Country Outdoors podcast is proudly presented by Nomad Outdoor. Guys, we've worked with Nomad Outdoor since the beginning of Country Outdoors, and there's a reason for that. They have the absolute best hunting apparel in the hunting industry. We have worn their clothing spring, we've worn their clothing in the fall, we've worn their clothing in the summer, we've worn their clothing on the ice, we've worn it everywhere. We absolutely love it. Guys, they're a Southeastern brand. They represent us. They represent sportsmen and women. Whether it's in the field or by the campfire, Nomad Outdoor has something for every occasion. So you'll come on, go check them out. Zach, myself, and the Country Outdoors family are proud to have Hawk Optics as a sponsor. When it comes to clarity, precision, and overall quality of the product, we have found Hawk Optics to be top of the line and field tested their products year round and had great success. You can check out this example here on the screen of my recent Colorado elk hunt where I harvest this monster bull elk using the Frontier 30 SF hooked up onto my fix from Q.
I think they really showcased it so well too with connecting like faith and the outdoors together. And so I guess that makes me ask, so are you a faith-driven person?
Yeah, I didn't really grow up in the church like heavily. My family like didn't go every week, but you know, I have a lot of friends that are really, really deep into it, and you know, I'll go with them sometimes to church, And it hasn't been, like I said, like a huge crazy part of my life, but you know, I wear my cross everywhere I go, and you know, I talk to God when I need to, and definitely, absolutely.
So I went to Jerusalem a couple years ago, and
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, and that was a really cool thing. But I also grew up Catholic, and so I've seen a lot of hypocrisy and all of that stuff, and I totally understand how people feel about like necessarily the institution of churches. I think some can be great, some can also be conflicting for people, and that's the gift that the outdoors offers, is that you don't have to go to a church to have you can have a conversation with God anyway. You can be on the toilet talking to God, but the outdoors, I feel like you really see how creative he is and can connect with him on such another level that a lot of people don't get. When you're out there and you're like what we said, you're just seeing those little like magic moments that are just between you and him, and you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah. And that might be what sparked your interest in it. I don't know. You can find some peace in that.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
And so tell me a little bit about fishing, because I know you're quite a fisherman, bass fishing, yeah?
Yeah. I always grew up, you know, more of a fisherman, obviously, like I said, than in the hunting stuff. But my dad loved it. You know, going to parks, we used to do a lot of like just fun little family things. I remember where one of the spots my grandma worked, they always had a fishing tournament every year for the kids, and that got me really into it. You know, and then it was like bluegill. But then, like, you know, as I got older, and my dad, you know, got me out there a little bit more. Growing up, we had he actually owned a like vending machine company, so like candy, soda pop, and he took care of this account.
Which is so smart, because that is what everyone's trying to do now. They've realized that like that's a smart business.
Oh no, for real. I mean, you got to think, everybody wants snacks and stuff, so he did pretty good with that. But he took care of an account that was like right behind our house. We had moved out from the house I kind of grew up in when I was real little, and built a house outside of town a little bit, and right behind us there was a big field, and then you walk through this cornfield, and you get out, and it's like a sand and gravel pit. So they had a big, you know, just giant lake out there, and it was private. You know, they didn't really want a bunch of people going over there, but since my dad was close with the family and took care of their business and stuff, we were kind of like the only people allowed. And,
that's nice.
Yeah, so they never really had a problem with us going back there, but I mean, it was stocked, and it was always so fun back there. And that's when I really got into it. I remember it was like probably 7th or 8th grade. So I was just like, you know, 12, 13, 14 years old, and I got out there a whole lot more and would go by myself, and I was just obsessed with it. You know, there's nothing like getting a big bass on the line. And
oh,
like
for sure.
It's crazy.
And it's a good thing to keep a 13-year-old boy distracted with.
Yeah, definitely. I could have been doing worse things around that time in my life. But I remember one year, it was, I think it was the last week of school, and I ended up getting sick, and I was going to be missing the whole thing. I think I had mono. I got mono, and I don't even know how.
No, that's really bad though, isn't it? Don't you get boils and stuff?
Yeah, well, it's like...
Was that from playing sport?
I don't know. I don't know where I got it from, to be honest. But after I got diagnosed with it, I was like, you know, oh, you're good to be out for like the last week and a half or week of school. But I never really felt that bad. So every day,
yes.
I would not go to school, and I would go back there and I would fish like every day for like a week and a half. It got my summer started right, so that was fun.
So did you have any of the like boils and stuff like that though?
No. Mono's like, it's like
it's in your
swelling
glands and
of
stuff,
your
isn't
like
it?
lymph nodes and stuff. Yeah, and then like I think it's your spleen or something can enlarge, and I couldn't play baseball for the whole summer, which sucked.
So the reason why I'm asking that is my husband got mono when he was in high school.
Yeah.
And it had led from an infection.
Oh,
like
really?
he like scraped his knee, and he got that, but then he ended up getting like a boil on his head. And the only reason why I remember that is because he said he had this coach. This is South Georgia, like really rough coach who essentially made him like strap it with foam and put the helmet back on his head, and so like he's traumatized by this whole story. And so when you said mono, I'm like, oh my goodness.
No, I never had that. I'll be real. I never had that.
It just led to like good fishing opportunities.
Yeah, 100%. And they always said it like was supposed to make you really, really tired. Like fatigue is crazy, but I was never tired. So
you're like, it just made me smart.
I had a light case of it or something, but I got to miss school for last week.
That's
got
cool.
to fish. The only downside was, like I said, I didn't get to play baseball, and that was one of the last summers that I played baseball. I don't think I got to play till like the last like month.
Wow.
Of that summer. So I got a little bit in, which is good.
Is your dad still around?
He lives down in Alabama, and then my mom lives up in Indiana still, and my brothers and sisters. My brother comes on the road with me a little bit too. He
That's
works
cool.
with me, so yeah. Yeah, all my family's still around.
Still close enough. So do they come into town much to?
My mom and my grandparents and I think my siblings, I don't know, they're always doing their own thing these days because they're all getting older.
Yeah.
Are coming down for CMA Fest. So whenever I do stuff down here or have a show, they'll try their best to make it. But I always come up to them too, you know. So
Are they like
we'll see.
immune to all of the success and the vibe and just energy and stuff now, or like?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're still excited about it. I mean, I think that I call her my nanny. My mom's mom is like my biggest fan. Like she'll tell everybody or ask everybody, you ever heard of Dylan Schneider? That's my grandson. Like, you know, listen to the songs. Isn't that? She's all excited about it. She still loves it. My brothers and sisters, yeah, it's just been like normal to them now for almost like 9 years, 10 years. So they still love it. They have fun, but it's funny. Like they're kind of just monotone to it now, you know. But there are exciting moments.
You're
I mean,
just
like
Dylan.
I remember, I remember last year we did a show with Luke Bryan up at the amphitheater that I grew up like going to concerts at, and I'd seen Luke there like 2 times. But like, I guess my sister's boyfriend was just chilling in our green room, and all of a sudden Luke Bryan just busts in the door, and I was like, "What's going on, y'all?" And they were like, "You'll never believe what just happened." And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Luke Bryan just came in here." I was like, "Did you guys talk to him?" They're like, "No, we didn't really know what to say."
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It was funny. It was so funny.
I'm sure he's very used to that, and he's
Oh, yeah.
probably doing that on purpose.
Oh yeah, yeah. They were like, I don't know, like we thought it was really cool, but we didn't know what else to say. We thought he was looking for you, so he kind of just said hi and then left. And I was like, that's
so
funny. Yeah.
Tell me this, like, when was the first time over your career here where you were like, oh, okay, I think this is actually like starting to pop off now?
Yeah. I don't know. Everything happened really fast in the beginning, which was awesome. And it was exciting, and it made me want to, you know, obviously strive and work hard and do this thing for like, you know, the rest of my life. But I would say like, I remember putting out the first few projects that I did, and I had like my Wannabe EP, which was like the summer of 2016, 17 EP, and gradually those things like kept getting more success. And this was especially like when iTunes was still huge. There wasn't even streaming yet. You know, it was just kind of the beginning of streaming. So to see the like iTunes charts and to see my albums like gradually each time go up, it was awesome. I remember I think 17 got to like number 3. Some of them charted on like some Billboard things, and then finally I put up my third EP, Spotlights on You, and there had been a couple songs that just got really, you know, big attention, and Spotlights on You came out and it went number 1 on iTunes, and I was like, that was like the coolest thing ever. You know? Like that time was like one of the big goals that I wanted to have was a number 1, you know, album on the iTunes charts, and especially then. So I'm glad I got to experience that and have that happen. You know, right before the streaming stuff came along, but then streaming happened.
Yeah,
so
tell me
was
about
big.
how that's all working now.
Yeah, like I mean, it was a crazy time, you know, and I was an artist right around the time it started, which was cool, and I got to kind of, you know, be in the beginning of it all, and I had success with some songs off those first few projects. Like I remember my song Two Black X's got a lot of love, and it was on like, you know, the Hot Country playlist and all that stuff, like when those were first like blowing up, and it was just crazy to see the numbers. So I remember that song specifically being a big turning point too. And that year I went over to the West Coast and played some festivals for the first time at the end of 2017. And I'd never been over there. I'd never been like to Las Vegas. I'd never been to like LA. I'd never been, you know, up to Oregon and like all that stuff. So I went and played some shows over there. And I remember being like, no one's gonna know who I am over here. I've never got out here. I've not exposed myself out here. And I played a festival at one of the Next from Nashville stages out there, and I played Two Black X's, and I remember just it was the loudest I'd ever heard that song sung by a crowd, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And that was a big moment for me too. It was like, damn,
the power
like,
of digital.
yeah, like my stuff is like bigger than I even realized it, you know? And now I've gone to, you know, Europe and...
All right, guys, I have a confession to make. I have a terrible sense of direction, and it's no wonder I haven't got lost in the woods or eaten by a bear at this stage, but there's a reason for that, and it's because I have Onyx Hunt. Onyx Hunt is incredible. It's an incredible mapping feature, and it has helped me navigate my way out of some pretty sketchy areas using the compass feature. I've been able to get back to my truck. I've been able to drop pins and waypoints to be able to coordinate how to get to A to B, to be able to find that turkey that I saw on the road and knock and get permission. Guys, though, if you really want to know who's a fanatic at dropping pins, it's my husband, Zach. If you look in his phone, he has thousands of these pins. If it was the 1920s, he'd be able to trade them and get some money out of them. But don't take my opinion. Go and download Onyx today and check it out for yourself. Good luck this fall. When you think of the biggest hunting shows, the most legendary hunting shows in outdoor television, what channel do you think of? Outdoor Channel. Country Outdoors is very proud of our partnership with Outdoor Channel, which started during the pandemic in 2020 with our turkey tour, and which has now evolved into our popular adventure series 4 years later. We are available on all Outdoor Channel digital outlets, including My Outdoor TV. And guys, they're giving out a free subscription to My Outdoor TV, so go and check it out.
So yeah, you've got the Kane Brown.
Yeah.
I was talking to some of your team before you came in, and I was like, I know she was saying that you've got the Kane Brown tour coming up, and I was saying, well, it's funny because I feel like Europe and Australia, when the American artists go over there, are mind blown by how many fans they have because they're a little more starved from it, and so like they are like obsessed fans. They download every song.
You're
they
like
know
a
everything.
superstar over there.
Yeah.
It's cool. No, like, and people have asked me like how I describe it going over there, and it's like, I don't know, they're just so like you just said, they're so excited. They're so like also attentive to your shows. They're not like rowdy. They're not like, disrespectful. When the show's going on, they're very, very into it. They're very, in tune, and they're really excited to meet you. So it's like, I love going over there and just getting to see, and showing love to those people.
How impactful your music is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really cool. We did C2C last year. We didn't do it this year, but we went over there and went to London, went to Berlin, Germany for the first time, which was cool.
Did you go, so when you're in Berlin, did you see any of the historic stuff?
Not really. I was there for one day before, and we kind of ran around, got to like go to some cool things, just like in a city kind of near where we were staying, but I didn't have like loads of time, but we did have an off day too in the Netherlands, which was cool. We did Rotterdam, we played the show, and then we had an off day in Amsterdam, and that was so cool. Like the whole day, just getting to experience it over there. That place is wild.
Yeah.
I've heard stories about it.
Lots of cool pubs and stuff, hey?
Yeah,
the nightlight's a bit wild, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I heard stories, and I was like, man, you have to go there and actually like see it to believe it. Like, cause I didn't realize. But we had a good time, and I would go back. I recommend it. It's like an amusement park for like parties, like
it's always so
adults.
Interesting, like when you go to different countries and you're like, wow, people live so differently in different parts of the world.
It's so cool. People are very like, the people are kind over there, people are patient too.
That's cool.
And it was nice to just be in a place like that. It was cool because some people were driving around, but a lot of people were walking and biking, and it felt like the cars, knew they had to stop for the people, they're very like, I guess, respectful of the pedestrians and stuff.
Yeah, because it's a lot smaller streets, and it is built much more for walking lifestyle for sure.
Yeah, it's nice. I'd like to go back there. I think we go back there on the Cane thing. We go near there.
So tell me about the Cane tour.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited. I think we're doing like a week and a half or something over there, which will be good.
When's that kicking off?
September. End of September.
Soon.
Yeah, soon. It's gonna be coming up. And it's me and Kane, and I love touring with Kane. I think Dash is on it as well, which I don't know her very well, but it should be a good group of people out there. And I love Kane's band guys. We've done shows over the last few years, and they've all went so good. And his crowd and the dynamic of like what I do too, just complement each other very well.
That's awesome.
So that's always good to be out there with them. And like I said, I didn't know if I'd be going back to Europe. Sometimes I feel like we go 1 year and then have an off year. So the fact that we're getting to sneaking in at the end of the year will be great. And then I'll have my first birthday outside of the United States.
Oh, what are you doing?
I don't know. I play London the next day, I think. And
so will you be in London for the birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that'll be cool, and that's where I'd want to be, honestly, for it. So.
Oh, there's so much cool stuff you can do in London for your birthday. They have a Jack the Ripper tour. Maybe you don't want to do that on your birthday.
No, I'm into that stuff though. I mean, I like all like the crazy documentaries.
There's so much cool stuff to do. Tower of London. All that stuff.
I've been to a lot of the cool stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. It'll just be a a different thing to like.
Just going to the pubs and stuff over there is so cool
So
anyway.
fun.
And it's so funny, like they love live music too. And so
Mm-hmm.
going and listening to all the different bands in the pubs over there is just awesome. And they love
Yep.
country music too.
Yeah,
So
no, it'll be cool. It'll be really, like I said, it'll be different, but it'll be a first for me. So I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. Well, it's great to hear that you're thriving right now, and it's awesome to have you on. I've got a couple of little fun questions
All right.
for you to wrap up with.
Gosh, let's see. What do you want to be remembered for? Oh, that's a great question. The longer I've done this, and like especially music and just like get into like, you know, do this as for my, you know, making a living and everything. I think it's so cool. So I feel like lately I've become more patient in the game of like, you know, trying to be like, oh, I want to be the biggest superstar in the world. I'm more just like happy that I get to do it at all. So I think I want to just be remembered for like encouraging people, you know, regardless of like how long it takes or like, you know, whether or not, you know, like I said, you're the biggest superstar, just realize, you know, that life is like good, the fact that you get to do it anyway. And I want to be somebody that kind of like, I guess, portrays that, you know, like has that vibe about me. Because I just like doing this music stuff, you know. So at the end of it, I just want to be remembered as like somebody who, you know, worked hard every day and tried to be the best I could be every day. And regardless of how far I got, I still got to, you know, live this dream. You know what I mean?
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
What we got here? Most memorable moment in career and the woods. My career, man, it's a tough one. I've got to do a lot of things, and that's what's so crazy. Is I have so many favorite moments. I'd say one of the most memorable moments, best times of my career, and I look back on it a lot because it's like so surreal, but was the summer of like 2019. And I grew up, you know, like I said, falling in love with country music around like the early 2010s, whatever. And Florida Georgia Line were the biggest like inspiration for me getting into it, especially at that time. And I finally, you know, within like 3 years of getting to town, you know, and starting to do this whole thing down here, I got to go on tour with them, and I was signed by them, and like I remember play my song How to Country, which came out on my Whole Town Talk EP that summer, and I got to play it in their set, and their band played it live, and like they stood back with guitars, and then I was like up there, you know, in the middle of the big show. And that was just like looking back, seeing the video of that, like every now and then, it's like, that's the craziest thing ever. Like
Full
I got
circle.
People ask me the question like, if you could go on tour with anybody, who would it be? And I'm like, I already got to do it. And that's what's so cool about it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that was a big one for me.
That's awesome. One last one.
All right. Well, I got two. Hopefully this is the better one. Let's see. Best quote you've ever heard? I've always liked this quote, and I grew up with it in my house as a kid. We had all of our rooms, me and my brother and my two sisters upstairs. When you come down the stairs, right on the thing, this was always posted, and it was something that I was, you know, kind of like taught to do, and the idea of it was always just beat into our heads, but it's do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path at all, and leave a trail. And I've always loved that, and I think that's cool. You know, you want to be a trailblazer, you want to do different things, and you want to have an impact. So I've always thought that was like, you know, really important to remember when you're going out and doing your thing.
I think that is a perfect answer and a perfect way to end it for Country Outdoors.
Thank you so much for having me. It was
Thank you
awesome
for
to be
being
here.
on here.
Of
And
course.
guys, go and check out his album Puzzle. It's out now.